the channel. In today's video I'm going to give you an update on this Volkswagen Touareg, as it already passed 130,000 miles and it still drives, and it also has a check engine right now. So first I would like to give you a little bit of a story on this car. I bought it on actually on 9/11 in 2016, and I owned this car for now 4 years, actually a bit more. The car had 89,000 miles at the moment. Actually, not that, 98,000 miles. Let's first the numbers. And since then, I did have a few issues that I had the car drove into the dealership and have them fixed, and I actually have the service history with me, and it's not that big for the 4 years that I had it. Since then, the car had 2 accidents. One of those accidents I've been in the car. The other one was me being at work and the car doing all the things. I'll give you a little bit more information later. But for now, the things that I want to tell you, that the car is driving perfectly. For the 4 years that I had it, I haven't had a thought of selling it or buying something else. It performed every single thing that I needed and even more. I tow all the projects with my car. I travel far, big distances. Anything I need, this thing does it. Of course, it's not that big as a van, so having stuff on the back, it's not that, well, it's not gonna fit. I tried to bring things from IKEA to help my friend, and even to my apartment, and it barely fit, so I had to drive like that. But it was fine. Not that I'm driving to IKEA every weekend and buy the stuff. For that thing, if I would have to do it, I'll probably get something else, maybe a van. But for the car is, it's actually perfect. So for those who don't know, this is a TDI V6 3-liter turbo diesel engine. It's supposed to give about 240 horsepower and 406 foot-pound of torque. But after the diesel fix, which this car came through, I think it lost some power, and it probably lost a lot of power, because now I can feel that there is not enough power to tow a car. And previously I was hauling a Subaru Forester on a trailer behind me, going 60 miles and getting 30 miles per gallon of fuel economy. Now I don't have that. When I was towing the Porsche the first time, it struggled. I felt that it's not the easiest thing to do for this car. So, but I'm not gonna do anything about it right now, because the car is under warranty from Volkswagen because of that diesel gate issue that they had, and that's actually a good thing, because I have a check engine. All I need to do is just drive into the dealership, say, hey guys, I have a check engine, can you do something about it? They will fix it, and I have nothing to worry about. So that's also a plus and a minus. But as soon as the warranty will expire, which is after 4 years or 100,000 miles, which I have 3 years left, because I'm not gonna drive another 100,000 miles in the next 3 years for sure. Another thing that happened after the diesel fix, losing power is one thing, but they changed the settings of the transmission. So now it wants to shift later from 3rd gear. So that's why you see me switching gears sometimes, because on manual mode I can switch the gear on 2000 RPM, around 2000, like 1900, and when it's in automatic it wants to go up to 2500 RPM, which is, I don't feel good. They did it because it wants to warm up faster and this and that. And the 2 accidents that I had with this car, one was on the highway as I was going on BQE here in Brooklyn, and there is this turn where the Belt Parkway turns into BQE, and it's on a hill, and I saw the car being on the side of the road with the hazards on. So like, okay, car is on the side of the road, and then I see the car is coming closer and closer. The guy in front of me was able to skip between the car and the wall, and then I see if I'm gonna stay in one spot, the car just rolled back into my car because the car was rolling backwards all this time. And I decided to try and squeeze between the wall and the car. I was not successful. The back passenger door was scratched, and the quarter panel on the back. Here you can take a look for yourself.
Everything I've said is
So I knew that this is not going to be my fault, but it was stressful because the police said that it is my fault that I sideswiped the other car, even though I had a video and I had proof. So the guy told me, if you want me to write a report, I will write that this is your fault. And I was like, no, thank you. I already made a report with insurance before the police arrived, so I gave them the information on the other car. And the funny thing is that maybe just switched plates, maybe they just registered because they couldn't get the information on that car for 2 months probably, or maybe even more. And then the shop that I chose, even though like that's the advice for you, because I looked at Yelp, Google reviews on all body shops, and the body shop that I chose was close to me, and it had almost perfect reviews, like 4.9 stars on Yelp. And I figured people wouldn't give it bad reviews if it was that horrible, if that was even horrible. Thank you, Waze. Save me all the time. They didn't do a good job. Specifically, they didn't do a good job painting. The paint was horrible. There was paint runs, and the most horrible thing about that is that they didn't listen to me. I told them, they assumed because I look young that I don't know anything about the cars and the job that they're supposed to do. Even though I grew up in a family of mechanics. My cousin is a mechanic, my sister's husband is a mechanic, my brother is a mechanic, so I know something about it, and the rest that I do is just for fun. So I told them, like, hey guys, this is a paint run, it's not supposed to be here, can you please take care of it? They would just play dumb and say like, I don't see anything. And then they showed me the example of their car and said like, look, oh, my guys did awesome jobs. Like, wow, awesome. Why didn't they do the awesome job on my car? And they were not able to answer it. And it was a horrible experience. I read the review for them on Google, on Yelp, so people will know what the shop is about and don't go that way. Not even close. And now the paint, by the way, is cheapened because they didn't use enough paint, so the paint is too thin. Another mistake of theirs. So if you need the information what the shop is, what that shop is, I will let you know. Just leave a comment below about it. And the second thing, the second accident that happened, it actually happened without me being involved. I was at work. It was scary to come from work to the car and see the front bumper was smashed. Usually you assume when someone hits the car when you're not around, no one is gonna give you a note, insurance information, so they will reimburse you for the damage. And I figured this is gonna come from my pocket, which is not the good news to anyone. Luckily, some guys were around. I don't know how they knew about it. There was a tow truck right behind me, and the guys just came in to me as I was sitting in the car, and they said like, is the car driving? Do you need help towing the car? And that was weird for me because like, how did they know that I was in the car, and how did they know that the car was hit? They said that there was an incident that day and the guy was arrested right on the spot. So now I feel a bit better. So I called police. The guys arrived to find out what happened and gave me at least some information on the other driver, so I can have the insurance cover the damage. While I was waiting I was able to check the video camera that I use right now, and I found a very interesting movie. Take a look. So what we've seen there is the guy was trying to run away, and it actually looked funny. I was surprised that there was so much damage to the other car, and my car only had small damage, like just the bumper, nothing major. But even that was very expensive. To fix that damage, the guy's insurance paid around $7,000 to replace the headlight because it had a crack. They replaced the whole radiator support because that one had a crack, the bumper, intercooler, horn, small other things, and painted the bumper, of course. So all of that came up to be around $7,000, and the damage before was about $13,000. So already those two damages, it's like buying a new car. Okay, so here it is, the 130,000 mile Volkswagen Touareg. It's a 2013 model. From the outside, it's not clean right now because it's winter time and I have ski racks, so I cannot go to any car washing place, and it's gonna be messy anyway. So during the winter time, I don't usually wash my car. So during my ownership of already 4 years, I didn't spend a lot on owning the car, but I did change the tires. It's a Michelin Latitude, all of them, so that cost me around $1,200. But the roads in New York and New Jersey are not the best, so they are cracking right now. It's only been 3 years since they have them. So in the accident that I had, the first accident that I had, I got scratched around here, and this piece was scratched as well as the rear bumper, but the bumper was replaced. The insurance company put a new door on it, and this trim is a new piece as well. This scratch is also new. In Brooklyn, there is this people who drive bicycles with storage in the front, and they deliver stuff from grocery stores to homes. So I guess one of them hit it while it was raining. Then I have this damage. Probably some kids on the bicycle was trying to fit between a pole and the car. They didn't, but I'm still stuck with it. The back bumper, it was repainted okay-ish, but then there have been Brooklyn parking, so there are scratches around here, and the paint cracks around here has been scratched twice in the same spot. And this side is pretty clean. No one have done anything to it. It's just a little bit dirty. Now, this car had a lot of paint chips on the hood. On the white paint, you don't really see it, but it also happens around here as well, and we need to take care of it as soon as I can, and that's probably during the summer seasons. So let's take a look inside. I do have a lot of stuff, and I haven't cleaned the car properly for the video, but for the 130,000 miles, seats are holding up pretty well, and you can have a proof. 131,406 miles. The interior pretty much is in a great shape. A lot of people have told me that it does not look like it has 130,000 miles, and that's one of the things that I like about the car. It actually ages really well, and I like the look of it as well. As of other costs around the car, so other things I've paid. So the first time I went to a dealership was when I just got the car, and that was I had a check engine. No, actually I didn't have a check engine light. I just bought the car and I went just to do a recall. Brakes recall? Something with brakes, I don't remember exactly. And I went to the dealership the first time. As soon as I got the car, I drove it to the dealership the next day. And they did a service because it was close to 100,000 miles, so they did the whole oil change, liquids check, whatever. And that costed 500 bucks. I could have done it myself probably and avoid that payment, but it was a brand new car, and they did clean the EGR, which is kind of a pain to get to. And I was afraid because I didn't have warranty on it at the moment, so that was that. After I came back from that dealership, the same day actually, after I drove up from it, I had a check engine light, and that was the DEF fluid heater and pump, because that's one assembly, and it's located under the trunk above the exhaust, so the exhaust can warm the liquid. That would have cost me about $1,000. I didn't do it because I thought that probably the first dealership did something. Apparently that was the common issue for all diesels, and later they extended the warranty and I was able to replace it without any charge to me. The issue after that was years after. I had this small coolant leak, like once in 3 months. There was a light that I need to refill the coolant, and that was the most expensive service that I've ever had on this car. They replaced every gasket that potentially could leak, every small pipe and water pump, together with a serpentine belt, and that whole service cost me $2,600. And the third service that I had was that's out of my pocket. That was actually not my fault, and that could have been avoided just because some dealership who had worked on this car before, specifically they were replacing brakes on this car, they messed up and they torqued the bolts on the caliper on this side, and then when I was replacing the brakes, because it was time, the threads on the bolt was stretched, and also the threads on the assembly was stretched. So I went to the dealership to have that fixed, and because the old dealership didn't want to take responsibility for what they've done, that cost me about $1,300, and it came from my pocket, which it was not my fault and it could have been avoided. And this front bumper was painted and it already has new scratches, because previously I had the plate on the front. And that is about it. So to conclude this video, I am very surprised with the car. I didn't expect it to be holding up that well with that higher mileage, because people scared me that when you're gonna buy a car, buy a low miles car, because it will last longer, it will have less issues. So far I have spent not even 5,000 on the fixes on this car, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna spend a lot more. Another issue that a code that is stored but it's not displayed yet and dealership cannot do anything about it is the fuel pump. Fuel pump is about to die. There is a low fuel pressure code in the system, but dealership cannot do anything. Even though it's covered under the extended warranty, dealership cannot do a thing about it because it's not the permanent code. Once it's going to be turning into a permanent code, which means when the fuel pump actually is dead and I am stuck probably on the side of the road, then when the dealership will take care of it. It sucks. I would have to deal with it later. So far I'm just praying that on the way home I'm not going to be stuck. And to be honest, I would not replace this car for any other. There is really no car for the value that this car presents. The fuel economy, which it has 29 miles per gallon on the highway, it's pretty good considering the size of the car and how big the engine is and all-wheel drive and all the other stuff. Then can tow any car behind, a towing capacity of 7,500 pounds, and that's pretty much every car on the road except trucks. 406 foot-pound of torque, it's closer to Nissan GTR. That is pretty much all I can say about the car, and probably I've missed something, so feel free to put a comment below and say how was your experience with the car, or if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, put a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so I can make more videos like this or others with other cars, so I can also buy other cars. So have a wonderful day, stay tuned for more videos, and goodbye.